Hi guys, it's Judy and welcome to a new video. So today's video is going to be slightly different to how I usually plan my monthly reads. Usually I do film like a TBR video, but I also mood read a lot and I definitely do not stick to my TBRs. But I don't particularly have a lot of books in mind. I thought I would just film me picking books from my shelves, going through some, having a look at what I want to read, and just planning the month of July in terms of reading. So yes, I'm going to try and set myself a couple of goals. I'm going to go through my shelves, see what takes my fancy, and go from there really. But before we get into the video, I just want to take a moment to thank the sponsor for today's video, which is Skillshare. So as you guys know, I have worked with Skillshare for a few months now and I absolutely love Skillshare and highly recommend their platform. So if you didn't know, Skillshare is an online learning community for creators and they literally have thousands of different classes on a whole range of different topics, so there's always something new for you to explore and learn. It's a place where you can learn new skills, you can develop existing skills, you can try something new and just learn lots of new things. I can find classes really easily on there and I really enjoy a lot of the classes that they provide, especially ones related to hobbies of mine like photography and journaling. So a class that I've been enjoying recently on there is the Self-Care Through Creativity, Turn Your Anxiety into Art class. And this class is by Sarah Beth Morgan, who is actually an illustrator. And I am someone who suffers with anxiety and I definitely need to do more self-care and kind of channel it through other ways, and I thought these classes would be perfect for me and I've just really been enjoying them and I just really like the way Sarah does the classes as well. So I would definitely recommend these if you struggle with anxiety and you're looking for a way to kind of channel that. But yeah, the best thing about Skillshare is that it's all about learning, so you're not going to get any ads popping up to distract you. And there's always new premium classes being launched all of the time. So there's literally always something new for you to learn. And you get access to thousands of different classes by so many different creators. So as usual, Skillshare have very kindly given me a link for you guys. So the first 1,000 subscribers who click the link in my description box will get a free trial of premium membership so you can explore your creativity. So thanks so much to Skillshare once again for sponsoring a video. And let's just get into my July reading plans. Okay, so I think the first thing that I need to do is sit down and look at my Goodreads, because I know on my Goodreads I'm in between a lot of reads. So let's have a little look. I haven't updated my Goodreads to all of the books that I'm currently reading. I am in between a lot of different books, but I'm just in one of those weird reading moods at the moment where I just can't seem to figure out quite what I want to read. So I need to finish The Wolf by Hannah Whitten. I've been reading that book for well over a month now. I need to finish it. I have about 100 pages left or so, so I guess that is a contender. And then I still have Clockwork Angel on my Goodreads as well from when I started that back in April, so that is a potential one to finish in July, just so I can finally get them off my currently reading shelf on Goodreads. But I think I will try to read For the Wolf. But yeah, now I think I'm just gonna go through my shelves and maybe pick out some books. Okay, so I think the first book I'm gonna have to obviously pick off my shelf is gonna have to be my Patreon buddy read book for July, and I'm so excited for this one. It's been on my to be read list for ages and I just know I'm gonna love it. Everyone talks about how good this book is, so that is A Touch of Darkness by Scarlett St. Clair. This book is just so beautiful and I'm so excited to read it. Look at it, it's just so pretty. But yeah, if you want to join in on our buddy read for July for this book, I will have my Patreon link down below in the description box, so you guys can check that out if you like. I will talk about all of the books at the end once I've pick them off my shelves. But yeah, that's definitely the first book and I'm definitely going to be reading that one. So I do have a couple of books on this shelf that I do kind of want to read, like I'm kind of in the mood for. So one of them I think is potentially Dangerous Women by Hope Adams. I recently saw Beth from Books Nest read this and she really enjoyed it, and it's not something I'd usually pick up, but I really like the sound of it. So it's a like murder mystery thriller kind of vibe and I definitely do want to read more of those kind of stories. I don't read enough of them, so I think this one is a good potential candidate. Then I also have Blackwater Sister by Zen Cho. So this one is quite a new book and I don't actually know a lot about it. I just think it sounds really intriguing and I saw really good reviews and had it pre-ordered. So I think this is a good contender because I'm just really intrigued by it, and just look at this beautiful cover. Like, this book is just so stunning. So yeah, that's definitely a contender. And also on this shelf I have this book here, which I recently got, which is The Nature of Witches by Rachel Griffin. You all know I love my witchy books and anything of this sort, and I just really want to read this. Like, I don't know why. I don't even know what the plot is anymore. I cannot remember. But because it's about witches and it's YA, I feel like I'm going to love it. So I feel like this is a good candidate, but I also feel like it might be better to read in autumn. I don't know, we'll see, but I definitely think this is a contender as well. But let's move on to my mythology shelf, because I'm definitely in the mood for a little bit of Greek mythology. Okay, so I know one that I definitely want to try and get to soon, but I don't know if I definitely will. I actually still have a proof copy of the book, which is The Wolf Den by Elodie Harper, I think is how you pronounce the name. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing it incorrectly. But yes, I got this proof a while ago and I just unfortunately never got around to reading it. I do also have a hardback copy as well. I do also have the hardback here, but I think I will read the proof version just to keep this in a nice condition. But I just feel in the mood for a little bit of like Greek Roman-esque mythology kind of vibey story, if you know what I mean. I think this one's set in Pompeii and I've heard really good things about this book, and I'm just in the mood for it. So I think this is definitely a contender for one that I will read. But then I do also have The Silence of the Girls by Pat Barker. I've been meaning to read this book for absolutely forever, and I really want to read it soon, because I recently received a proof copy of her new book that's coming out in a couple of months time, and I really want to get to this one before I read that one. You don't necessarily have to have read this one, I believe, beforehand, but I would just rather read it that way. So I think I would like to read this in July, just because then I can move on to the proof and do a little review for it. But I love this cover as well. Look how beautiful this cover is. It's so pretty. I'll show you guys the proof as well, because this is a book that I may potentially also pick up in July. So it's called The Women of Troy, and I just love this proof. It's so pretty. I love the cover so much. So I mean, potentially I will also pick up the proof if I do read The Silence of the Girls and I'm still in the mood for that kind of story. Then I may gravitate towards this one afterwards. So I guess this is a potential candidate as well for July. So I've recently bought a lot of classics secondhand because I want to read classics, and I have started Pride and Prejudice, so that will be on my TBR for July anyway. I'm just reading it very slowly and taking my time with it. But I do want to pick up some other classics potentially, depending on my mood. So I am thinking of maybe reading Oscar Wilde's The Picture of Dorian Gray. A lot of people have suggested I read this as one of the first classics that I pick up, just because it's apparently like quite easy to read and just quite short. So I might pick this up if I do want to read another classic. Then I do also have The Great Gatsby, which Caitlin would be very happy if I read. I don't know if I'm in the mood to read this, so this may potentially be picked up because it's quite short and I want a few short reads in the month of July. And I think I may also pick up this poetry book, which is Ariel by Sylvia Plath. I've never read any Sylvia Plath before, but I think this would be a nice introduction to some of her work. And I have this really pretty copy here, and I am going away in July, so I might take this with me just to break up reads, because I can just flick through and read some poems. So I think this may be a good contender for that. But yeah, I think that's going to be it for classics, because I just don't know if I will want to read them. I will have to be in the mood for a classic, so potentially some of these, who knows. Okay, so it's a bit awkward to try and show you any books on this shelf because my desk's in the way and my tripod doesn't reach tall enough. But I do have a few different books on here that I may potentially pick up. This is mostly my fiction shelf, and then non-fiction and randoms. I'm trying to read more fiction at the moment, so I have a few that I may pick up while I'm in the mood for fiction. So I think this one isn't fiction, this is YA. I don't really know much about this, except for the fact that it's very popular at the moment, and it just sounds very intriguing if you just read those lines there. So yeah, I thought this would be a good pick for summer and just like a short read to take on holiday with me. And yeah, I've just seen everyone talking about it, so now I kind of want to pick it up. So I feel like this one I'm probably going to get to. But then I also have this book here, which I saw someone on Instagram talk about, and I picked it up. It's literary fiction, it's not something I'd read, which is The Unbearable Lightness of Being, and this is by Milan Kundera, and apparently this is just a really, really lovely book, and just kind of an interesting read and very unique, and I just really want to dive into more books like that I wouldn't normally reach for. So I feel like this is a good contender if I am in the mood to read some literary fiction, but I just don't know if I will be. Then also from the shelf, I might actually pick up Notes on a Nervous Planet by Matt Haig. I actually have the audiobook for this, and it's quite a short audiobook, so I may pick this up and finally get to it. It's been on my shelf for years and I just never read it, so a lot of people have recommended it to me on my non-fiction video as well, so potentially I will pick that one up, but I don't know. So moving down a bit, I don't have the book to hand because I've taken the dust jacket off it, and I literally read like the first 4 pages because I just felt like I wanted to read these characters again. But that is Escaping from Houdini by Kerry Maniscalco. So I don't know if I'll definitely read it in July. I mean, I have started it, but I've only read those few pages, so I'm not sure. But I'm just in the mood for her writing, and I'm in the mood for a bit of Audrey Rose and Thomas Cresswell because I love their characters so much. The only thing is I've left such a big gap in between reading each book that I forget what happened in the previous one. So I don't really remember what happened a lot. Like, I know the basics, but something to do with the romance element happened in that book and I've forgotten about it. So I'm a little bit lost reading this so far, but I think if I'm still in the mood for it, then I definitely will read it. And I really want to read this so that I can read Capturing the Devil in October around Halloween. So I would like to get to this one hopefully, but I'm just not really too sure. Okay, so now we've got all my really messy like proof area. So I've already spoken about the Pat Barker proof that I have, but a lot of books that I do have on here that are coming out in July that I just don't think I'm going to get to in time. But there are a few that I definitely want to read. Some of these have already come out and we just had them at work. But one that comes out in July that I really do want to get to is this one, which is These Hollow Vows by Lexi Ryan. So this is a fae romance fantasy story. Can't remember much else about it, but it reminded me of sort of kind of Sarah J Maas, Holly Black kind of vibes when I read the synopsis, and I love fae romance, so I feel like I will like this one. I can't remember the exact date that it comes out in July, but yeah, I think I might start this one. I feel like I could read this fairly quickly and it would be really fun, so I think that will most definitely be on my TBR in July. Then I got this at work the other day, so this is already out, but this is a book called Sorrow and Bliss by Meg Mason, and this just sounds really good. And when I read the synopsis inside, you can pause and read here, it just sounded really relatable in some parts, and it's basically a book about mental health, how it can kind of ruin things for you, and how like people can think you've got this perfect life but behind closed doors that isn't the case, and how like your mental health makes you feel sometimes unlikable and like something's wrong with you. And I think in this book the character kind of explores like what her mental health makes her feel, and also explores kind of like a more humorous side to it, and like kind of getting to grips with your mental health, overcoming it, and just kind of learning to live with it. And yeah, it just sounded really good, and like it would be a little bit relatable in parts to me, and I've heard really good reviews for this, and when I saw the proof and no one else wanted it at work, I thought I may as well give it a go. So I feel like this one would be really good to read for me right now, but I just don't know if I'll definitely get to it, but it is definitely like a potential. Then I also have the new Stephanie Garber book, which is Once Upon a Broken Heart. I've never read anything by this author before, but this one sounds like something I will love. It doesn't come out till September, so it's not really a priority, but I might pick it up because I'm just so excited, and seeing other people read their proofs is making me excited, so I might pick this one up as well, but I just don't know. It depends. Okay, so I very slightly narrowed it down, but to be honest, I'm pretty much putting all of the books on my TBR. So I do have a stack here of ones I'm currently reading, which I will quickly talk to you guys about. So I have all of these here. So I have Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. I did start this in June and I'm 48 pages in, and I am filming a separate reading vlog for this book, so look out for that coming very soon. But I'm also kind of taking my time with this. I definitely have to be in a specific mood to be able to read Jane Austen's writing, just because the way it's written is very like dense, and I do sometimes have to like reread a page to understand exactly what's happened, just because of the style of the writing and the Old English. But yeah, I probably will read some more of this in July, but I definitely don't expect to finish it. Then I have Mary Oliver's New and Selected Poems. So I spoke about this in a reading vlog that I did recently, and I really want to read this. I don't know if I'll read all of her poems, but I read one of her poetry books for a 24-hour readathon I did over on Patreon, and I absolutely loved it, and now I really want to read it because I just want to explore some more of her poetry, and I just feel like this would be nice to read in between reads when I'm not particularly in the mood to be reading anything like too heavy. Then I am actually reading a non-fiction. I only started this yesterday, and this is one I'm definitely going to be taking my time with. I'm only 21 pages in, but that is The Gut by Julia Enders, and this is the inside story of our body's most underrated organ. So I actually struggle with a lot of stomach problems and a potential hormone imbalance, and that is affecting my health in a lot of different ways, especially my skin. So I have recently been making some dietary changes, but I'm just definitely not educated enough on either thing to know what the right things are to do. So I've heard so many good things about this book when I've been like reading up about stomach issues, and this is one that literally just always pops up and everyone recommends, and the writing style is supposed to be really easy to follow. It has like some funny illustrations in it and stuff as well. So I started reading it yesterday on the way home from work, and it's just so easy to read, and I'm already really enjoying it and learning a lot. And yeah, I want to read more non-fiction, especially ones that are more relevant to me. So I picked this up, and I'm just looking forward to seeing this from a different perspective, because when people think of the gut, they don't realise how much of an important organ it is. It's literally just as important as your heart and your brain is, because it's like the 3 biggest organs, and it's responsible for so many other organs and so many other things. So yeah, I think this is going to be a really valuable read, and I'm definitely going to continue this in July as well. Then obviously, as I said before, I do have For the Wolf by Hannah Whitten. So this one here is one I've been reading now for over a month. I'm on page 312, and I think there's like 420 something pages. I was loving this at the start, but then it kind of just got not boring, but I just wasn't eager to pick it back up again. I just feel like the middle part of the story is a bit slow for me, and I really don't like one of the sisters' perspectives. It's 2 perspectives in this book, so I feel like her chapters are very hard to read. But basically, this is a Little Red Riding Hood retelling, and we have 2 sisters. One is a queen and one is sacrificed to the wolf, and she goes into this really creepy forest. No one can go in. There she meets the wolf, and yeah, things happen. I don't want to give too much away, but there's a bit of romance in here, and it's just quite an interesting story. If you like Shea Earnshaw's writing, I definitely think you would like this. I am enjoying it. It's just a little bit slow for me, and I'm just really not liking one of the sisters, so it makes it difficult to read. But I definitely do want to finish this in July, because it's been a long time coming. I really need to get it done, so hopefully I can finish this. I have like over 100 pages left, so yeah, I definitely plan to finish this in July, otherwise I will be so embarrassed. Then we have my Patreon buddy read for July, which I'm so excited for. I'll be doing a dedicated reading vlog for this book on my Patreon, and if you want to join us, the link will be in the description box. But this is A Touch of Darkness by Scarlett St. Clair. This is a dark, smutty romance retelling. Yes, just an absolute yes from me. I'm so excited. It says on the front, as she struggles to sow the seeds of her freedom, love for the god of the dead grows, and it's forbidden. So forbidden romance. Oh yes, just yes please. So I'll read you guys the synopsis really quick. So it says, Persephone is the goddess of spring by title only. The truth is, since she was a little girl, flowers have shriveled at her touch. After moving to New Athens, she hopes to lead an unassuming life disguised as a mortal journalist. Hades, god of the dead, has built a gambling empire in the mortal world, and his favourite bets are rumoured to be impossible. After a chance encounter with Hades, Persephone finds herself in a contract with the god of the dead, and the terms are impossible. Persephone must create life in the underworld or lose her freedom forever. The bet does more than expose Persephone's failure as a goddess, however, as she struggles to sow the seeds of her freedom, love for the god of the dead grows, and it's forbidden. So, Persephone and Hades retelling, forbidden romance. I cannot wait. I've heard the smut in this book is really good, and the entire series is good, and I'm just so happy that this is the book we are reading in July on Patreon, and I just think we're all going to have a really fun time reading it. and I just cannot wait. Like, I've wanted to read this for so long, and I'm just so happy that the time has come. So I will definitely be reading this in July. I did end up DNFing my June Patreon book, which was Realmbreaker by Victoria Aveyard. I could not get past the second chapter. The prologue alone was a struggle, and then the first chapter I had no clue what was going on. The writing was just terrible. No thank you. So I'm looking forward to reading a good book in July, because I just know I'm gonna love this. It has everything in it that I like, so I'm excited. So then next we have The Nature of Witches by Rachel Griffin. So you guys know I love my witchy books, so of course this one was going to be on my TBR. So I don't remember a lot about the plot for this book, but I know that there's a bit of romance in there, obviously witchcraft. Oh my goodness, can we just take a moment to look how beautiful this book is? Like, yes. So I'll read the synopsis for this one as well, because I just don't remember it all. Clara Densmore is an ever witch. For centuries, witches have maintained the climate, their power peaking in the season of their birth, but their control is faltering as the atmosphere becomes more erratic. All hope lies with Clara, whose rare magic is tied to every season. In autumn, Clara wants nothing more to do with her power. It's wild and volatile, and the price of her magic, losing the one she loves, is too high, despite the need to control the increasingly dangerous weather. In winter, the world is on the precipice of disaster. Fires burn, storms rage, and Clara finally accepts that she's the only one who can make a difference. In spring, she falls for Sang, the witch training her. As her magic grows, so do her feelings for him, until she's terrified Sang will be the next one she loses. In summer, Clara must choose between her power and her happiness, her duty and her people she loves, before she loses everything. From a stunning new voice comes a story about a powerful witch who must decide if using her volatile magic to help the world is worth the price of losing the person she loves most. So yeah, this sounds so good. I like the idea of like a climate change being tied into here, and the whole seasons thing, and the way the magic seems to work. I'm really interested to see the magic system in this book, and also the characters and the romance. So I'm very excited for this one. I love this cover so much, and I totally forgot that Summerween is happening in July, which is hosted by Liv from Olivia Reads a Latte. I will have her channel linked down below. I definitely want to partake in Summerween as much as I can. I do have a very busy month in July. I'll have very little time for reading, but I'm still going to try to participate. So I'm hoping maybe I can fit this into a prompt, because this kind of has a spooky cover and it's about witches. So hopefully I can fit it into one of the prompts. But yes, I'm really excited to read this. Then, just if I'm in the mood for a murder mystery thriller kind of vibe, I have Dangerous Women by Hope Adams. So I don't know a lot about this, except that we have a lot of women on a ship. It's set in London in the 1800s, and the ship is on its way to Australia, and there's 180 women on board who are all prisoners and been arrested for one thing or another. And then one day, one of the young mothers on board is murdered, and obviously everyone's freaking out because they're stuck on this boat in the middle of the ocean and someone's killing people. And it's one of those where every single person is a suspect and no one can trust each other, and I assume we're basically just going to go on this journey to figure out who has murdered this young mother and why. And I just like the kind of tense environment of being stuck in the sea on a boat, and the whole like everyone could be the killer kind of vibe. So yeah, I feel like this one would be good to take away with me, because I am going on holiday in July and I do like to read a good thriller. So maybe this one I will pick up, and I am still going to mood read a bit, which is why I'm putting this on my TBR as my kind of thrillery option. I would really like to get to this because it just sounds absolutely amazing. Then also, if I want murder mystery kind of romance, I have Pride and Premeditation by Tazarh Price. So this is a Pride and Prejudice and murder mystery story, and it says when a scandalous murder shocks London high society, 16-year-old law enthusiast Lizzie Bennet sees the perfect opportunity to prove herself as a formidable litigator, despite the fact that women are only allowed in court as witnesses. Unfortunately for Lizzie, the man accused of the crime already has a fledgling lawyer, Mr. Fitzwilliam Darcy, the stern young heir training to take over the prestigious firm Pemberley and Associates. Convinced the authorities have blamed the wrong person, Lizzie vows to steal Darcy's client and solve the murder so that she can earn a position of her own. But as the case and her feelings for Darcy become more complicated, Lizzie discovers that her dream job could make her happy, but it also might get her killed. It says it's irresistibly romantic and clever. So yeah, this sounds so good. It sounds like it will be really funny. I like the ostentatious thing because I'm reading Pride and Prejudice at the moment as well. And I just feel like this would be a really fun holiday read as well. And I don't know, like for some reason I'm just quite in the mood for this. Then I decided I would add another poetry book to my list just as an option for a nice shorter read and something to flick through. So I have Sylvia Plath's Ariel, and this is just a collection of some of her best known poems. I've never read any Sylvia Plath before, so I'm definitely looking forward to reading this. I love this cover as well, it's so beautiful. I will probably take this with me when I go down to London or on holiday, I'm not sure, but I just thought it would be a good short read to add in if I can try and squeeze this in somewhere in July. Then I have another non-fic book. So this is Notes on a Nervous Planet by Haig. This is a self-help kind of anxiety, mental health kind of book, and it's basically just supposed to say, how can we stay sane on a planet that makes us mad? How do we stay human in a technological world? How do we feel happy when we are encouraged to be anxious? So I just feel like this is going to give me a different insight and kind of perspective on things, and a lot of people have recommended this to me, and I've had this for years and just never read it. I have the audiobook, so I think this might be my audiobook for July, but I guess we will see. Then I have If We Were Liars by E. Lockhart. I kind of just bought this because of the hype. So many people are loving it. I've been selling them non-stop at work, and I'm like, why is this book everywhere? I need to read it. So I don't really know a lot about it. I don't even know what genre it really comes under in like YA, but on the back it says, we are liars, we are beautiful and privileged, we are cracked and broken, a tale of love and romance, a tale of tragedy, which are lies, which is truth, you decide. So yeah, I have no idea what it's about, and that's why I want to keep it. I want to go into this totally unaware of the plot and just be surprised and hopefully enjoy the writing. It's quite a short book, it's just over 200 pages, so I think I'm going to save this for when I go on holiday, just as a holiday read because it's nice and short. But I cannot wait to get to this one. I really hope I manage to squeeze it in July, just because I really want to be part of the hype. I've got major FOMO, so yeah, this one is definitely on the list. And next I have The Silence of the Girls by Pat Barker. So this one I want to read because I've received a proof copy for her new book that comes out, and I've been meaning to read this one for the longest time, so that has kind of given me like the necessary shove that I needed to pick this up finally. So I'm hoping I can get to this in July, and I am in the mood for a sort of like mythology, ancient kind of story. So in this I think it follows, is it I can never pronounce it properly, but Briasis? Yeah, so this follows Briasis and her perspective during the Trojan War and everything, and we do also have Achilles in here, and I'm just quite excited to read something from another female perspective. Heard so many good things about this book and her writing, so I'm very, very excited, and I just really hope that I do get to it, and I may even pick up The Women of Troy, which is her new book that's coming out soon, if I really love this one and I'm still in the mood for another story similar. So yeah, I'm very, very excited, and I'm just looking forward to like the kind of feminist vibes that will be in here as well, and just seeing the kind of Greek myths retold from a woman's perspective. Quite often the women are kind of forgotten or demonized in mythology for some reason, so it will be really, really interesting to read something from a female's perspective, to see the characters that I do love in Greek mythology such as Achilles from a different perspective, especially after I love Song of Achilles so much. So yeah, I'm very, very excited to read this one, and I'm hoping that I will finish it in July. Then I have this proof, which I've mentioned a few times in videos, so These Hollow Vows by Lexi Ryan. This is a fae romance. To be honest, I can't remember, and I don't want to know anything about the plot anymore. I kind of just want to go into this one not knowing much, because I just want to go into it for the romance, and that's it, because it's fae. I have spoken about it before, so I will have this link down below anyway if you do want to check out the full synopsis. But basically this is just fae fantasy romance, and do you need to know much more than that? I don't think you do. And then lastly we have one that I have briefly started but don't know for sure if I will continue in July, but it is a possibility just because I miss these characters and I'm kind of feeling it. But that is Escaping from Houdini by Carrie Maniscalco. So this is the third book in the Stalker Jack the Ripper series, and I absolutely love this series. I love these characters. I just can't remember a lot of what happened in the last book, which is really frustrating, but hopefully I won't be too lost when I read this one. So in this one we have Audrey Rose and Thomas Cresswell, and they are on a ship going to, I can't remember where they're going to. They're going somewhere, and then there's this like mysterious sort of magical carnival show thing every single night on the ship, and this guy's quite known for being weird. I don't know, like just weird. And then there's this performance and someone is killed and people are turning up dead, and so Audrey Rose and Thomas Cresswell have to find the link to this mysterious kind of show that's on every night, and also find the killer before being murdered themselves. We'll also have their kind of romance thing going on. So yeah, I'm really excited to read this, and I do hope that I get to it because I just really enjoy these books, so it will be something that's very nice to pick up, but we shall see. Potentially, I don't know. That is the last book on my TBR. But as I said earlier, it will probably change. I will probably mood read. I have a very busy and most likely stressful month ahead of me in July. I have big lifestyle changes potentially happening towards the end of the month, which I will talk to you guys about when I know for sure it's all happening. Very excited about it, but it's also just going to be a very stressful period and take up a lot of time, so I don't know if I'll have time for reading. I'm also going down to London for a few days and then going on holiday, so that's going to take out a lot of time, so I don't really know how much reading I will get done, but I am planning to read at least 5 books in July, and I definitely want to finish For the Wolf and read some more of Pride and Prejudice. So those are like my main goals for the month, but I am just going to take it easy and read what I can where I can. But I'm very excited for my reading plans. I feel like I've got quite a wide variety of books on my TBR, which is good if you are a mood reader, and I have some shorter ones, so hopefully I will manage. I haven't looked at manga or graphic novels because at the moment I'm just kind of not in the mood for a specific one. I will probably just pick up one at random, so I will potentially maybe read Waiting for Spring Volume 1 or a graphic novel. I don't know, we'll see, but I will most likely pick up one of those during the month of July. So yes, you will see a lot of this in upcoming reading vlogs that will be coming your way very soon. But yes, I hope that you guys did enjoy this video. It isn't how I usually film my TBRs. I just felt like doing something a little bit different today. Let me know if you liked it or not, if you'd rather me just sit down and talk about the books or kind of go through my shelves each month. I don't know. I don't really know if I'll do this again. I just felt like doing something a bit different, and I just didn't really know exactly what I wanted to read. So yeah, but hopefully I will read a lot in July. Let me know in the comments what you guys are planning to read in July. How many books are on your TBR? Which ones? Have you read any of the books I've talked about? If you have, please let me know your thoughts on them. I always find it really interesting to see other people's views and whether or not they enjoyed a book or not. So yeah, be sure to let me know in the comments. I would just love to chat to you there. Yeah, if you did enjoy this video, please do give it a big thumbs up and subscribe if you would like to. I would love to have you here. And if you would like to join my Patreon, it will be linked down below. That is where you can find extra content from me, such as reading vlogs and hauls. I also do a monthly buddy read and a monthly live show, and we also have a Discord where we all chat. So yeah, it's a really fun space, and I would love to have more of you there if you would like to join. Yes, I will have all of that and all of my social media and all of the books linked in the description box, along with the link to get your free trial of Skillshare. I will also have it as a pinned comment, so if you would like to test it out, then make sure to head to the link. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you're all safe and well. I hope you're reading lots of good books, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!